unleash your inner Goldilocks, how to get it just right. Thank you so much for joining us for another insightful and exciting episode. Goldilocks is about helping us build a mindset on how to get things just right. How do we make sure we approach life situations and scenarios in a way that we don't show up too hot or too cold, too hard or too soft? What is that right place and the right way to show up so that we are creating that? And as we think about Goldilocks, today's conversation is going to be about as a person enters into life, as a young woman, as a young person, how do they plan and get their life just right? How do they mindfully approach their situation and surround themselves with the right people to get life just right? That is going to be the most important conversation of today. And to have this conversation with me is Ruth Adeniyi from Nigeria. Ruth, welcome to Unleash Inner Goldilocks.
Thank you, Dr. Castiri. It's a pleasure for me to be here this morning. It's afternoon by my time here. So, yeah, thank you for having me.
What you are doing and why what you're doing is helping you become the person you've always wanted to be.
Of course, I call myself a mindset coach, and then I am an affirmation enthusiast. While I was about graduating from the university, I realized that I've been learning about adults, matured people, and how to help them live better life. But then I haven't even really studied myself because I had a lot of things I was struggling with mental health wisely. So I had to check myself because I was struggling with a lot of limiting belief, self sabotaging thought, and all those kind of mental health, negative mental health and pandemic time. So I had a time with myself and my coach that I signed up with online, and I was able to take that personal development journey, and that really helped me. The coach recommended a lot of books and sessions with me that helped me to gradually, with a gradual process, begin to overcome my limiting beliefs, self-sabotaging thoughts, all this negative mental health mindset rather that limits me and make me just remain average. So that's now giving me the confidence that okay, now I can now focus on the people I want to help, having had this experience. That is about my story.
That is a good way to look at an introspective journey. And I'm glad to see that during COVID, you had the opportunity to take that introspective journey. What kind of a support system do you have when you took that journey? And how did that support system help you? Because it's hard to do this as a young person on your own, right?
Having a strong support system is key to first getting ill, and that was what helped me because I was before I could even start the journey, I had to first of all realize that I needed help, and that was what prompted me to reach out and ask someone that I have been watching closely, that I know that could help me. So then she was a coach, my first mentor, and I don't know if she's not a very popular person, but I noticed that she has the experience and she could give me the guided transformation that I need. So I reached out to her. She taught me about skills acquisition. But before we went into skill acquisition, we started about me helping me to recognize myself, my personality type, and then what makes me different from those that I keep comparing myself with and why I should stop that. And then that also helped me to identify my triggers, things that trigger those negative thoughts, negative reactions, and negative mentality to life generally. So having recognized those triggers, then she helped me to start building a personal guide like that suits my personality type that I can overcome it gradually. And that was where I realized that for me, affirmation is just a very powerful tool because what breaks me down easily is words. Immediately after realizing that I can't do it, thinking about it, I start to say those words. And the more I keep repeating those words, I keep feeling low. So affirmation then began, started to be my tool. I started building myself up gradually using the other means that like reading books, helpful books, listening to coaches, and then sessions. So all those were like a support system that helped me to build my growth process. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Ruth. And you went to school and got trained in adult education, and you're committed to
Yeah, sure.
helping continuous learning and helping people transform to find their purpose and live their purpose. What do you see
Yes.
ways in which people can help you accomplish that goal? And how are you going about that goal?
Yeah. If I get you right, how people can transform living in their purpose, right? Adults. So if to begin to live in one purpose, it's one thing to be living, you're existing, and it's another thing to have discovered why you are living, why you have to live. Because if you've not discovered that why, you can easily give up, because a lot of challenges will come and you'll be frustrated, you'll be worried, you'll be, before you know it, you give up, and many commit suicide. Many just remain in their shell and don't even want to try anything anymore. So how you can begin to live a transformed life is first discovering your purpose. That purpose discovery helps you to get more intentional with your daily life. When you know, okay, this is why I'm what I'm created to do, or this is why I'm living. You have a why for your daily life. So if any challenge comes, arises from anywhere, you have something driving you on. So giving up will not, it's not like giving up will not come along the line, but then you will know that you should not give up because you have people depending on you. Yeah, that transformation is going to help some other people, and that will keep fueling your growth. And then transforming for adults, because what I studied now, it's for adults who have gotten to a stage in their life where they missed an opportunity in their past life, and they now realize themselves now, and maybe they would love to take back the hands of time. So now, for when you know you cannot bring back the hands of time that has passed, this your present moment, having discovered that's why you can start living that essence. So it's first at the stage of purpose discovery.
As you think of how you want to serve in your community and you want to help through coaching and teaching for people to live their purpose and have a meaningful life, what is motivating you? What is driving you to want to do that?
I recently realized that the more I do that, the more I get fulfilled. Of course, I had a community. I started a community some times back, about 2 years now. And what we do basically is just helping people to identify their personal self and living in that their personal self. And I've been doing it like just a free, free service, and help, and I'm happy doing it. But of course, recently I realized that I would like to get more intentional about that, and then I was looking out for opportunities in that regard so that I could get, it's easy to get frustrated at times when you don't have anything coming in and you are always giving out. That is just the truth about life. So at then, how I intend to keep doing that is I want to find more motivation in doing it, so that anytime it comes in and then you are maybe getting discouraged or the result is not coming forward immediately, you have something still driving you, and the people's transformational results also part of the motivation keeps you going. So that's just how I tend to. I don't want to stop anytime soon. Helping people discover their purpose and living in their essence that is a beautiful experience for me. And I keep, rather than getting discouraged, I just want to keep finding more motivation and more opportunity in it so that I keep doing it.
I am so happy to hear that, and I'm so glad that you are finding fulfillment. In this
Thank you.
community you're building, are you focusing on women, men and women? What is the makeup of the community and how are they uh, seeing their own transformation?
It's a mixture of men and women, and they are mostly like young adults. The larger percentage of the members are young adults, and how they find how we our activities and services. We have daily affirmation to help guide, because for some that have most of them have issues with living a positive life, daily life. So the positive affirmation comes daily to help guide them in the daily living positively. And then we do have weekly sessions. Like yesterday, we had a session on self-discovery hosted by some of the members. So we invite people from other organizations to take sessions with them. So we have personal development sessions, we have professional growth sessions. So those sessions are like opening them up to discovering themselves and opportunities. Also, we have networking opportunities in the community. So that's how we run our activities, and they get to enjoy from it.
I'm glad to hear that. And as you think about helping the young adults start thinking about crafting a positive life, not allowing the environment to have negative impact in the way they think of themselves or their future, because that's hard in a developing country where you
Mhm.
see with social media how the rest of the world is living and you don't have all those opportunities, right? So that
Yeah.
creates the pressure that makes you feel like there's something not right in your environment. So when you use the term mental health, you're talking about the importance of positivity because there's so much negative around you, right? I just wanted to make sure I highlight that for our audience because sometimes people misunderstand the term mental health. And as you look at the world around you and start thinking about building a better environment and future for Nigeria, what are some of the challenges young adults are facing? It'll be good for our audience to be educated a little bit about that.
You asked, like, it's a personal question for me because I am a young adult, and of course, from relationship issues to issues at work, and maybe for most of us in this Nigeria, we have a business, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs. It's not easy setting up businesses and not having a supportive government. So all those are easily, you have a lot of entrepreneurs just depressed, and most of them are just so overwhelmed that you have a larger percentage of them committing suicide, and they are just so fed up. And then we have graduates that are not employed. They are not employed because they are just there, nobody to employ them, searching for job for years. And then we have undergraduates that are still students in the school, and then we strikes. For me, I took a 4 year course, but I ended up spending 5 years. So a lot of all those, negativities, not what I planned, not what I requested for, happening, disrupting your calendar, disrupting your plans, and then everything is just leading to depression and negative mental health. A lot of people having negative mental health. But then ability to help an individual or a young adult see that even in the midst of this mess, if you keep building a daily positive lifestyle, you can have a different experience, because I have it. That was one of the reasons why I suffered all through for about 3 years in my university days, even though I was a student. But I was having all of those issues, packed up on my head, overwhelming, that I could just not see what I was going to do with my life. But helping a young adult realize that regardless the mess, you can still make something positive for your life with a daily step, and then starting with your words, then having been intentional about the life you live. That's really builds a positive mental well-being, a positive community.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Ruth. You are also somebody who loves to write. You've
Yeah.
talked to me about how much you love to write, how much writing helps you think. Talk to us a little bit about why you write and what kind of writing do you do? And how is that helping you structure your thinking and put your life in perspective?
I love that question because, when I said my coach then, the first coach I was going to have that helped me through my personal development growth, she was a copywriter, and the skill she taught me was writing. So then that would be the first skill I was going to learn. And that writing for me is like helping me to discover myself, identify my voice, and really know what exactly I would like to be writing on. So initially I started as a copywriter. I was writing for sales, promoting products and all of that. But after a while I realized that not like I can't write a good copy, but I would really love to settle down with content writing, educating an audience, and specifically in the mental health and lifestyle field. So that is how I began to discover my voice, identify my personality through writing. That was 2020, and today I started building my writing my brand on LinkedIn. So I write for business owners, solopreneurs in the field of lifestyle, personal development, and then I help them to promote their brand. Though content writing basically and ghostwriting. That's what I do.
That's interesting. So you used two terminologies. You do content writing and you do ghost writing for content for entrepreneurs and so forth. That
Yes,
means
yes,
you're writing on behalf of them as though they are writing, right?
yes, yes.
That
They
means
have
you're
the authorship. Sorry, they have the authorship. They have the right. So I just take my after writing, I get paid, and they take all the benefits, everything.
absolutely. And the point I was making is when you do ghostwriting, you're writing in their voice. So to the world,
Yeah.
it looks they wrote it. Whether
Yes. Yeah.
they can't write it or they don't have the time to write it, you're writing it. So this is a way
Yes.
that
Yeah.
you can help other organizations. You can help organizations outside of Nigeria by doing content writing for their social media and marketing promotion. So if
Yeah.
somebody is watching from the United States or Canada or UK or somewhere in the Western world that is English speaking, what would you like them to know about your ability to do content writing and do it as a ghostwriter so that you can help them get their message out in a way that they are represented?
Okay. If they are solopreneurs or maybe they own a brand online or maybe offline and they are looking to build a presence online, how I can help them as a content writer is I take whatever it is they want to write about, then I develop words. I learn about their past content. I will have to have maybe they have a blog or some things they've written in the past to read and learn their voice, their brand style. So having getting that and then what their brand is about, then I'll develop samples. Like I can write some free content, maybe 1,000 words on any topic relating to their brand, give it to them for them to read. If it sounds good with them, then I go ahead with them. So I help them to, if they are busy type and they would just like someone to manage their content for them, organize their content, and maybe publish it on their social media pages. I do that for them, and they take the authorship, they take the rights if it's for ghostwriting. So and that promotes to their right audience, because writing is one ability to know who you're writing for and help them to get their goals, their brand goals achieved is another thing. So I help to know, okay, this is the type of audience you're writing for, and the right language that such audience will be able to read your language and understand that, okay, this is for me, so they can buy from you. So that is how I can help them as a content writer and ghostwriter.
Thank you, Ruth. I am going to open this up to our live audience. We have folks who probably have questions for you, want to add their thoughts. So let's open this up. Go ahead, Robin.
Hi, it has been really fun listening to you and hearing all of your perspectives from a young person's perspective. Obviously, the challenges that young people facing today are very different from the ones I had as a young person, although there are some similarities. I'm always interested in education, and obviously you had to have various forms of education to be able to do what you do. So I'm wondering, was there a formal path of education that you followed uh, where you are? And or did you have to then seek out additional forms of education for you to be able to be a coach, to be able to be, a positive affirmation leader and that type of thing. So what were the forms of the sources of education that you've been able to tap into?
So I have certificate courses that I took from online platforms regarding coaching, mindset coaching, affirmation coaching, So that is what I used, my personal development, my personal experiences rather. So yeah, I look forward to taking other certification courses ahead, maybe in the future. But right now, that is the education I have presently, and that is what I've been able to use so far.
Beautiful. Thanks so much.
You're
Thank you for the
welcome.
question, Robin, and thank you so much, Ruth. Go ahead, Dr. Menon.
Hi, I found you very inspiring the way you have managed to find a niche and work on both of your talents, and the need to help people with your coaching side, and even your ghostwriting and content writing is kind of helping people fulfill their purpose as well. So it's very purpose driven and very personality oriented what you're doing, and I can see the joy that that brings in you. My question is, somewhere along the way you were saying that you do your coaching and you have a community that you do for free, and I was wondering, what the challenges are for the financing and the continuing of that is for you.
That's a good question because it's know how you set up a community without financing it. That's obvious. So how I get to finance activities that maybe when I invite a host and compensate them as from my skills, the other work I do. So that's how I support myself. But then I realized I realized that I would love to do more than just free services as a coach. So when I realized that, I began to take professional courses, online courses, and I look forward to taking more of them though. But I began to take professional courses and reaching out to professional organizations in the regarding coaching, so I can begin to work with them. But for now, how I've been financing it is using my other skills and other work I do, whatever I get there to support. And we don't do much financing yet since it's a free service, free community.
That is an insightful question, Anandini. And
Thank you.
Ruth, I hear that you're doing this as a service and you're young, you are passionate about it. One of the things that I always think about is when we are serving others and they're unable to pay, this payment doesn't even have to be money. I live in the Caribbean part of the year. I serve in the Caribbean part of the year. And when I help people and I know they can't pay me, we can exchange, right? So, for example, I coach and mentor young people, and they will come and help me with the yard work or things I need help with that an older person can't do by themselves, right? Or I help and cook healthy food and give it to neighbors who are not feeling very good and they need to get back to health because they have diabetes or blood pressure or some of these issues. And I make healthy food as part of how I live my life. They can't pay me for the food I make, but they give me the lime that they grow in their yard, or they give me bananas as their fruits mature. So there is more than one way to look at that give and take. And one of the things I always guide people to think about is don't look at a relationship as money based, but how can you serve each other? Therefore, you're creating value for each other. And that is also part of coaching. I am giving you something of value and you already have something of value, and let's exchange it so that when there is a value for value exchange, people value themselves. They start thinking better of themselves and they start valuing what is being exchanged. So something for all of us to think about, and especially young people as you start life. We were all there at some point. But let's look at that exchange as a transformational value for value exchange, as opposed to always getting paid by money. because we don't need money. The money is only needed to buy things. But if we can exchange things and services, then we need that much less money. What do you think about that as an alternative?
That's a great one, though obviously I know that it's beyond money. In fact, about building relationship is not just about money. It takes commitment, it takes you just sacrificing your time, effort, and all of that. So yes, it goes beyond money, and we have to take our mind off the money is like a short-term goal at times. When you're looking towards a long-term benefit, it's you may have to take your mind off the money for now. So although money is like you cannot do without at times that you need to get some things done. But yes, when you focus on the long-term goal, you will definitely get ways coming out. And like this podcast I'm having with you now, I could have maybe buy it with money, but no, I don't even have the money to buy it. But the connection and the rapport we build during connection, so that is beyond what money can buy. Money cannot buy everything, but then the values shared, they are for long-term goals, and those ones remain. So yeah, I agree with you.
Thank you, Ruth. Interesting conversations always fly, and 25 minutes just flew by. So, as we bring this to a close, I want you to take a moment and share with our audience what, if you had a closing thought for young people watching, even for grown-ups watching, what would be the message you leave them with in terms of having a positive mindset and having positive affirmations for themselves as they start every day?
I will tell them that they should focus on what they can control, because they cannot control everything. It's one thing to know that, okay, this life, you can't control everything. And it's another thing to be able to accept that. Accepting that is peace, honestly, because I took a larger part of my youth when I was a youth. I was trying to control everything, control people's perceptions about me. So just accept it that you can't control some things about life. So those little things you can control, focus on them. And those things you cannot control will begin to realign to your goals, consciously or not, before you know it. And about affirmation, honestly, when you talk about affirmation, it's like a tool that I see it as a tool to get things done, because the easiest thing we do is words. Oh, I'm a mess, I'm a failure, I can't do this, I can't do that. But if you can change your mindset, your words will also begin to change. And when you are consistent with the positive words, you begin to see that your focus, your vision, your daily life is realigning positively. So words are powerful, and you cannot afford to joke with your words on negativity or things like that. So yes, I will just tell them about focusing on what they can control and be conscious of their words, because that's a very great way to live a positive life.
That is absolutely powerful, Ruth. And for a young person to come from a place of understanding that and sharing that is even more powerful. So thank you
Thank
so much for having this conversation with us. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and your perspective with a global audience. And to our audience out there, you heard this young lady, Ruth, just talk about the importance of a positive mindset. What we believe, we become. What we believe is the self-talk we give ourselves. So you want a different life, get the right mindset, because that is what sets the stage for what you think, what you believe, and what you tell yourself. And what you tell yourself is what you start believing, and what you believe is what you start telling yourself. And it's cyclical. So break that negative cycle, build that positive affirmation. We'll be sharing Ruth's LinkedIn information, and you can reach out to her. And go ahead and go out there and start every day with as much positivity as you can. Amount of positivity is going to be contagious, and it's going to just help you build and build until you get to a place where there is no negativity anywhere in your life, because bad things are going to happen. But life is all about your own perspective.